Hello and welcome to Sunday. It is the seventh day of the week, the seventh day of our trek through Hebrews chapter 3. And we've completed the third chapter of the book of Hebrews, verse by verse, just looking at it for something to munch on, something to meditate upon. And I do want to encourage you once again, you can go to our church Facebook and YouTube, either one, and or at Vision Church Assembly of God in Lake Worth, Texas. You can find us on Facebook and on YouTube, and in our devotional, daily devotionals, you have these videos. You found those, but we also have Truth Seekers that meets on Tuesday night, and we take an hour and anywhere from an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. It's been as long as an hour and 10, as short as an hour, and we go through one chapter. We went through Daniel and Revelation, and now we're in the book of Hebrews. And so you might want to go and see the good overview, and then that could help you to connect to some devotional thoughts, meditation, preparing your heart, and see what the Lord would speak to you through His Word. And so without any further ado, we're going to jump right in to our meditations in Hebrews. Who were they who heard and rebelled? So he's really wanting them to connect to this idea historically for them as Hebrews, and for us. We need to look back in history. And the question is pressed, who were they who heard and rebelled? This is to elicit a response from us. Well, who was that? Well, what were those people? Who were those people? If we're not careful, we look to the past and say, oh, them. We're different now. We're new and improved. We are humanity 2.0. He's wanting to ask this question because he's really needing them to connect the dots and connect with those people and basically come to this conclusion. That could be us. They are us. We are they. We are not different. We are different in time. We are a later generation, but we are the same. We're in the same situation, the same circumstances. Because if we're not careful, we look at the past experiences and we do this. That would never happen to me. That would never happen to us. We're modern people. This is a modern day. But the writer of Hebrews, under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, presses the point home. And he asks this question: who were they who heard and rebelled? Were they not all those Moses led out of Egypt? And with whom was he angry for 40 years? So if they were led by Moses out of Egypt, what had happened? They had all seen leaving Egypt. They had witnessed the 10 plagues. They have witnessed the opening of Yom Suf and allowing them to cross like a highway. Wow. They had witnessed manna. They had eaten it. They had witnessed quail coming in by the hundreds of thousands in a flock. They had witnessed amazing. They had witnessed a mountain on fire. They had witnessed Moses coming down from that mountain with the 10 commandments. I mean, they had witnessed all of this. So talk about having every opportunity to succeed. Talk about being set up for success. That generation of people, this is the same generation who encountered and involved themselves in the rebellion in the wilderness. And it took 40 years to get it out of them. And I'm not quite so sure that it got it all out of them. Were they not all those Moses led out of Egypt? And with whom was he angry for 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned? How did they sin? They refused to enter the land. They refused to believe God. Whose bodies perished in the wilderness? He waited till they died And so they were all, and here's the irony. They had all said, were there not enough graves in Egypt that you brought us out into this wilderness to die? The answer was an emphatic no. No, I've brought you to bring you through the wilderness into a land flowing with milk and honey. But when they said, we're not going into that land flowing with milk and honey because there are giants and there are walled cities and there are great people and there are iron chariots, then we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Was it not with those who sinned whose bodies perished in the wilderness? That's who he was angry with. And to whom did God swear that they would never enter his rest, if not to those who disobeyed? They disobeyed. They had all of this going for them, and then they decided, nah, not me, not us. We ain't going in. Nope, not going to happen. Giants, chariots, nope, not going to do it. So we see that they were not able to enter for one simple reason: because of their unbelief. They didn't enter the land flowing with milk and honey because of unbelief. It wasn't convenient to believe. It wasn't popular to believe. It wasn't acceptable by the masses to believe. Only the minority believed that God could take them into that land. The vast majority believed it was all a farce. And that had been that way every day since they left Egypt. They were brought out under God's mighty hand. They had the opportunity to see the land and enter the land. Jesus said, except a man is born again, he cannot see the land, he cannot enter the land. But here's the other issue. Once a person is born again, there remains a question. Will they persist in faith and enter the land, or will they fall back in unbelief and find themselves in disobedience and not enter the land? They might even see it, but will they enter? That's the big question. That's the big question. The only way to enter into life, the only way to enter into the things of God, the only way to continue walking with Him, the only way to move from being born again through to salvation is by continuing in faith. Well, that should give you something to think about on this Sunday as we close out the book of Hebrews chapter 3 and we move Monday to Hebrews chapter 4. I'll see you then. Lord bless you is my prayer.